All right. I have wanted to do track breakdowns for a while, and this will be the first one that I'm actually putting on my channel. This is my latest song, Despite the Rain. Basically, I'm going to go through the production, including drums, synths, effects, and even vocals. This is the first song that I really fully committed to vocals with, and while I'm not entirely happy with the results, I probably could have spent a little more time on it. I went ahead and put it out because I knew that at this point, this was probably the best I could do with the sound that I wanted to get, and I'll continue to get better as I go. Okay, so let's start with drums. There are three different sections with the drums. We have the ones at the beginning, which are we have the second section, and we have the third section. First one in context is obviously it's the intro. Pretty simple loop here. Obviously, just starts with kick, kick, and clap. I don't think they're even layered or anything special. It's just samples that I found. A lot of the samples I get from a website called Ghost Hack. They have a lot of free sample packs that they send out every now and then if you subscribe to their email. So they got some pretty good stuff. I've actually used this clap a lot in songs like Chaser, possibly With You. I don't actually remember at the moment, but I have them also in a lot of upcoming projects as well. I don't remember what this one was from. Yeah. Oh, here's what I did to this is what I'm doing with a lot of kicks now is soft clipping them. Um, the science behind clipping is basically when you get a speaker extremely loud and it starts distorting. The reason that it sounds distorted is because it doesn't have enough power in it to actually fully play the sound. So it's cutting out parts of the sound. That's the best way I can think to explain it. When that's in a mix, that will of course reduce the quality of your overall song, especially when it's multiple instruments playing at once and one's clipping and it's interfering with other instruments and everything's freaking out. When it starts getting distorted and overdriven, that's the master clipping, and that's a problem. But it actually can be used sometimes stylistically. For example, funk and Brazilian funk, those genres use it a lot, and it can sound pretty cool sometimes. Now, soft clipping that I'm doing basically it clips the individual instrument track I'm doing it on before it gets to the master. So you can just use that clipping effect stylistically on one element. That way it doesn't overpower everything else. It's clipping. It's acting like it doesn't have enough power to give the full signal before it hits the master. Anyway, the clap. Oh, I added a little bit of high end to clap. We have percussion as well. Yeah, these don't even have effects on them. It's just shakers and hi-hats. And then we also have effects like this thing. I'm getting a lot better at using ear candy in my songs to keep things interesting, which I'm pretty happy about. Second section, this involves using just a drum break loop as part of it. With all of that very much high pass, kind of sharply. A tool called Punishment, which I use to give a bit of wideness to the existing sample. A little bit of reverb, sidechain. I'll explain my sidechain mechanism in this video as well. Anyway, the reason I have the the low end cut out so much for it is so I can use an actual stronger kick instead of just using the one that's already in the sample. Because if I just use what's in the sample, it sounds like this. That's also why I have sidechain on it, is because so I can use like an actual kick. So I have a standalone a kick separately just to sample, which is also being clipped. So they don't interfere that way, and I can play this over it like it's just more percussion. So together they sound like this. They play really nicely together. As we keep going, nice little effect right here. Another drum loop, which I added some distortion to, some high pass EQ, a comb filter which has a flanger effect that I have the filter frequency automating with, which is what creates that like rise in frequency in that pitch sound. Delay, A lot of delay, obviously. Reverb, also sidechain to keep it from interfering with the rest of the drums. Some cool effects here as well. And the addition of a ride, basically. That's the second section for drums. I have a build up in this next part. I'm just going to bring this original drum loop back in as it progresses. Another percussion pattern. Okay, here's the cool part. The refrain that goes into the drop. So this was pretty fun to make. So I take this drum loop, and I have this EQ that I put in there for this section, almost like a foam filter because it takes out so much low and highs. And right here, bring it back in all the way. This is a separate fill that was basically, I think it was in the same pack as that original drum loop. We used this hard clipper right here. Just clipping the absolute crap out of it while also using Bit Crusher and reducing the clock frequency of Bit Crusher over time so that it just kind of destroys the sound. Now, obviously, that's going to destroy your eardrums. So with this filter, not only is it high passing, but also I have a gain knob. And then the rest is just, I still use a standard kick sample over it, so it's still a clearer sound of a kick. And then here I just took like a rim shot and ramped the velocity. Then everything goes halftime in the second section, the third section there. Some fills. Got some more percussion for energy. Yeah, that's about it for drums. Okay, so this is how I do sidechain with everything now. I take an 808 hi-hat, which is this sound. I put a tool over it to mute it entirely, and I make it play with the kick. So every time there's a kick, this plays. Since that's a smaller sound, then sidechaining to the actual kick, it's easier to control because it's kind of just like a single click noise. Whereas with the kick, a kick has a tail, and when you're sidechaining with that, you kind of have to shape it different for every project, and it just makes sidechain more complicated overall. I find it to be way simpler to just use a tiny sound like this. So I have a dynamics tool right here, sidechain preset. Everything is routed to the sampler before the audio utility. And from here I can change high and low threshold, attack and release, and just the shape of the sidechain. And that's drums. Next up, we have all the bass elements. Well, the main bass elements. There's more than just this, but yeah, pretty simple. This is just a regular, I guess you call it a Reese. Just increases the filter cutoff over time. That's also high pass to make room for our sine sub, which is always ideal to use if you want your bass to come cleanly through some sort of big speaker system, or say like an event or a venue or something. I don't think I do it terribly well, but I think mine's good enough. When what I do for that is just literally a sine wave, and I parallel process it. So basically I split it into two audio outputs. One layer is just the clean sub. The other is the sub with distortion added to give it extra texture and taste and harmonics. A peak limiter to try and even out the volume. And because the sidechain is so abrupt, it creates a click noise. You can kind of hear it's like almost a little bit of a pop sound. That's why this is EQ'd so heavily, just so I don't have to do any extra work to try and like, oh, mess with the attack a little more. But I didn't want to mess with that, so I simply EQ'd that off. And, you know, the only fundamental major frequencies we need are down here. See how much that adds with the distortion? Adds harmonics and everything. So that plays for everything. It mimics the notes of this. And then I have a second saw bass, Reese bass, that I mess with the filter a lot more with. This was fun. Like, I think this is one of the most unique elements of the song is the saw bass right here. Just had a lot of fun with the filter and also and a lot less extreme side chains. Really loved that. Oh, something I forgot to mention about the drums is what that reverb thing was for, and as you could kind of see right there, it just over time. So it's a transition effect. Anyway, yeah, really love that sliding bass. Overall, we have this almost jungly rainforest kind of feel. Is kind of what I was going for, I feel like. Which I think I was able to replicate quite well. That's all we have for the main bass elements. All right, what else? Atmosphere. Okay, two main atmosphere elements. This pluck. Which was pretty high and low pass. Distortion, a lot of reverb. A lot of reverb. Of course, sidechain. Basically fills out the entire space of the song in that first area, and also the second. And to that second part, we have phone filter saws, which are saws. This was also cool. I have an LFO tool, slightly modulating the pitch by half a semitone, so it gives this detuned sound. Versus without. Versus with. Sounds boring without it. So yeah, like the most basic saw patch, 16 voices and 12 cents of unison spread. Management to make it a lot wider, feel space more, feel further out. Some reverb. And yeah, I think, did I automate any of this? No, I didn't. So it just stays that way throughout the entirety of the section. Next we have rain, because what's despite the rain without rain? Slightly high pass and some very minor distortion. I mean, not distortion. Some very minor side chain to keep it in the song. These were ear candy pieces, I think. Yeah, this is ear candy. Think like a more melodic section of ear candy. So we have. This was a cute little patch. A lot of delay and reverb just wash the crap out. Just a nice accent to this middle section right here. The chorus, I think that was. Oh yeah, this little thing, which was inspired by a friend. Funny, because I was producing this song on a Discord stream, and my friend was watching me, and he suggested doing something like this. And this was just a chord taken, and because I was lazy, I put an arpeggiator on it rather than just cutting up the notes. That is curious. But these are... Okay, whatever. We increase the filter sharply. There's another comb filter, a lot of reverb. It is automated to mix increase. So yet another transition effect. We got this thing. Distortion. Oh yeah, so this is a problem I've been having a lot lately. So I use Plug Data, which is basically a plugin foundation. How do I put it? Open patch. And yeah, it's a plugin host. So here is the plugin. EB Resonator. Think Chroma or Chimera. It's a harmonic sweetener. Basically a color-based tool. Basically, but I took a camera shutter click sound. Filtered it quite a bit, apparently. Oh, I must have pitched it down. The melodic sound that you hear in the song from the camera shutter click comes from this, except I tuned it wrong, apparently. But that's fine. You get the gist of it. We have this little ambient. I will never know if it's ambient or ambient. Barely even did anything to this. Did it? Was that? Oh yeah, just the output gain. Ear candy. That's it for these melodic parts. Next we have this decimator sweep. This is the portion in which I stopped trying to group things together. So this is also ear candy. Not much to say about that. There's this auto sidechain thing, which I used this more a long time ago. For some reason you can't hear it here, but so often it just creates a clicking noise for a sidechain because there's no way to not make it abrupt. There's no way to add attack. It's just immediate sidechain. Delay pluck. Square and saw mixed. Management that isn't being used. Sound sparking. Nice transition. Yeah. Vital is another VST that I use. It's essentially like Polysynth, I want to say, but it's like you can get more under the hood with it and control more individual things. At least that's how it feels to me. So used for that first section. Also for this breakdown in the bridge. Chorus from Kilohearts. Phaser, which is the sort of sound. EQ, punishment, delay, reverb. And this is by far my favorite sound design thing that I did in this entire project. This texture. Basically, we're going to turn all the effects off for this so you can hear what it already sounded like. I had a polysynth, which is what I use for literally every one of these instruments. I had to play a single chord, bounced up that chord, bounced the chord and chopped it up into this pattern. Love it, love it. Added a formant filter from Kilohearts, which is basically the foundation of how it sounds. And I'm using an LFO tool to modulate the X, what do you even call it? The X axis for the selector on the formant filter. The basis of the sound and why it sounds like it's hitting different notes. Just managed to get it perfectly like that. I don't even remember like how I did that, but it sounds very nice. Distortion. Another fascinating plugin. PitchMonk Pitch Shifter. I use this to increase the formant by about 2. Chorus to make it better. Compressor. You can tell by the way I skipped over compressor that I do not understand compression fully yet. Reverb. Management. Sidechain. And that for the transition as well. Anyway, it adds so much, because without it, it's just... This is worth it. Love it, love it, love it. So glad I made it. I don't know what sparked the idea. I think it was just something I heard in my head while making the song. But yeah. This part was pretty much the start of the project. This patch that I have, it's a sine wave. Plug. Oh, I'm lagging. That's fun. Yeah, distortion, EQ, banishment, delay, reverb. Tool. What did I use said tool for? We'll never know. The ending to make it silence for a glitch effect. Okay, polysynth. Ah, yes. sound to make. We have an LFO modulating both waveforms to go from like a square to squished square. And we also have the automation putting up the filter, distortion, EQ, all that good stuff. Yeah, loved this sound. Oh, this was an interesting thing that I did basically as another ear candy. As I briefly, what was it that I used? The delay time. You can only barely hear it, but like you can tell it's there. Just a little ear candy thing. Yeah, I thought that sound very sharp, but very satisfying to my brain. We have this nice ARP. What was this? Build up ARP. Yes. Not much to say about this, I don't think. It's, yeah, 2 layered saw waves, one half the size. A bunch of detune on it, so it sounds like a almost like trancey. And then the same effects as before. That also goes in the drop because it does a lot of support work, and the notes are really nice. We have this bridge lead, which is very reverbed out. Yeah, all for this section. Just adds one more layer. That sounds real nice. Okay, so here's another cool thing we have. The drop 2 sidechain group. I put the sidechain for all these elements as one so that it sounds uniform and not messy, like everything's doing a slightly different ducking pattern. This is going to be fun to break down. We have the continuous elements, so not the stabby ear candy stuff. Starting with this flutter. Made some chords. Ran them through an arpeggiator that just, what would you call that? Yeah, steps down. This is 2 layers of polysynth as well. It's all square waves. And these macros are basically so I could control the parameters of the filter and the envelope gain amount for the filter as well. And the release, basically to try and get a perfect sound that released at the right time, had the right filter pluck depth to just fit the mix perfectly. And I eventually found what I wanted with that. We have distortion, very minor on top of that, and then other effects, chorus, compressor, banishment, of course, and all the usual. What's this? Oh, this was also a cool thing that I added in the second part of it. And I crashed it again. Awesome. That's because something else is using... Oh, shoot. Yeah, something else is using plug data that broke. What was the old one? This was the old one? This was the old one. Ah, that's what I did right there. Oop. We'll get to that. Anyway. That's like a half layer. Cause see, we went from this triplet sort of thing. Not triplet, but you know. Bom bom ba to bom ba bom 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 bom. When we did that, I added these like happier chords in the background. Also very trancey, very wide. Phaser's doing a weird thing here. I guess it has kind of a falling effect to it that adds something. A lot of high pass and banishment. Then we got the same effects as usual. Down here, what's this down here? The bass. The bass layer, which we layered on top of the drop flutter and everything, of course. The bass design is so much fun. I get so much inspiration for it from an artist named Kindred, who's, I guess, taught me a lot of stuff through his Twitch streams. So, we're going to start from the beginning with this. You have this thing. Very soft patch, right? And it's this sound. Layered with this sound. To start off, we added a ADSR modulator, which goes to the pitch. It takes the pitch up a whole octave and quickly brings it right back down. That makes it more obvious if you do that, but it's like it adds a woody texture to it. Then you add distortion. Already way bigger sounding, already way louder. Another plugin, distortion plugin called Le Funk. Look at this beautiful skin. It's amazing. Yeah. But yeah, that adds a lot. Fat Cat Saturation, another fascinating AI generated looking plugin from Vox Samples. Boosted it 10 decibels, made the mix a little more than half, and left the volume as is. I added a chorus from Kilohertz. Some extra EQ work this time to try and keep it from being too muddy in the mid-low ends. And a very extreme soft clipper. EQ that does nothing. Compressor that's off. And then all the usual. And just a beautiful conglomeration of different sounds. Also, this little fill, which was basically this bass, but like slightly modified, I think less chorused out and a little less distorted. Yep, we took one distortion plugin away, so it's only 2 instead of 3. And you'll notice that even though there's reverb on this, which you can definitely hear, it cuts out. I wanted a cleaner mix for each of the ear candy bass stabs that I'm going to show you in a minute, but that utility is cutting them out entirely, muting them, so that these stabs can come through. That I made. Yeah, they come in during those muted sections. This was basically the same concept as the main bass, this one right here, but it has like a square wave with it instead. This one's a neat one. Just nice little. I think that's what that's from. The filter envelope up. You can't really tell. Distortion, the Fonk plugin as well. This is interesting. This is a saturator tool that came in presets for Bitwig, but the thing is I don't have the plan that supports the device for it, so I can't modify it. It's just a preset. So that's all the stuff. But I don't use it super often anymore because I have those other plugins, but it adds stuff for sure. Why is the filter only at half? That's where it came from. That's where the automation came from. I put an envelope on this. So without it, it's just... Which still sounds cool, but it sounds cooler when you have it with doing motion like that. It also almost leads into the snare. And yeah, soft clipper, not doing as extreme work than this one. Same pitch envelope. It's a square wave. Square waves I found are really fun to use as basses. Like stabby, hard bass sounds. At least in my personal opinion, I like them a lot. Especially when it's like there's no detune on it. It's like that real tough and stiff, hard sound. Yeah, same saturator plugin. Chorus and reverb. I think those all for these ear candies in the middle. And then we have this cool design these basically myself. So tone 4. Let's see what I did. Did I pitch bend this one? I moved it up. I didn't pitch bend. What did I do? Oh, it was the comb. I'm actually going to find the original sample for this. Tone 4. Yeah, that sounds like... I think that was it. Yep. So I pitched that up. Added the saturation. A formant filter to give it a different tone. The comb filter, which gives it all its sound. Filter, which is less obvious. The filter's a lot less obvious when you put other stuff over it. Soft clip absolutely obliterating it. Chorus. Very fun to make. I'm getting a lot better at sound design in general, and I'm really glad because it adds so much originality. This other thing, Audio 6. What was this? Let's see. Polysynth bounce. I don't even know what I did. Let's turn everything off and see. Interesting. Okay. So, the hypertexture I made earlier, this thing, I took that sample again, that bounce, moved it over here, pitched it down a ton, put it in that pattern, added plug data, which, okay, please don't be, are you really broken again? It's really broken again. Why? Okay, That adds melody to it. Doesn't do it a whole lot though. Same comb filter thing here. A lot of the same stuff is actually tone 4. A lot of high-end added saturation. Pitchmonk. What do I do with Pitchmonk? Formant increase. That don't do a ton. You know what? I think I copied the channel and just didn't change the effects. Yeah, beautiful sound. Love the end result. A riser. I made this a while ago and I use it for a lot of things now in works in progress. Pretty simple. Pretty heavily detuned, but high-voiced saws. This one's a little bit detuned. EQ, of course, because that's going to be crazy in the low end. Saturator. Didn't even use that much distortion. Oops. Yeah, cool thing there. That's it for that section. And let's see, next what we have. The final lead. This was a layer. We'll start with this. We have strings from Lab. And a lower layer for strings from Labs. Some filter automation too right there. Yeah, this is like the simplest saw. Some nice envelope. Some glide on that main one. And yeah, Labs. They sound beautiful together. Adds so much like size to it. What else we got? What else we got? We're gonna look at lyrics last. This is piano. Not much to see here. I think I high passed it. There's obviously distortion. Oh, so I automated it to just like, you know, kill it. Yeah, this is just where I gave up. That thing. Springfield recording at the end. Because it's like, oh, despite the rain, and now we're out of it. Glass reverse. More ear candy, I'm guessing. Yep. I seem to have broke it again with plugged in. Yep. That's that. Last one right here before we get to lyrics. Just glitchy sounds. Yeah. I used those in my trailer as well. I got a whole pack of these glitchy effects. Okay, last but not least, and the most interesting part, I think, of this whole thing was the vocals. This is my first time fully committing to vocals, so this was quite an interesting thing to do. So it is summer, and it has been summer pretty much the entire time that I worked on these lyrics. The way that I recorded these, because I have no means of professionally taking them whatsoever, is I sat in the backseat of my car, wedged my phone in between the headrest of the seat and the actual seat, pressed record, and took about 10 takes of the lyrics that I wanted to sing. I took the best parts from those, put them together, and here goes nothing, man. Y'all get to hear my voice raw, no effects without any auto-tune, no nothing. Just sounds like this. Sounds like nothing, apparently.
I still can't leave this bed. So I'm left to my own devices and mistakes.
So for a lot of this, you can see how much correction I did manually. Almost like I'm trying to do Melodyne or something. And you heard that. I pitched everything an octave up.
So I'm left to my own devices.
Oh, I didn't turn these effects off. We don't want to hear my voice pitched up like that, though. Some EQing. I am no professional with lyrics by any means, especially when I'm trying to do this weird robotic sound. I might try just using my regular voice with some auto-tune at some point. This seems to fit the best. So what I did is use pitch shifter to tone down the formants of my voice. because I felt more comfortable with it that way. So
I still can't leave this bed.
and it fits kind of the sound I'm going for.
I still can't leave this bed.
And that's how it is together. Then we have some main effects. We use the gate to take out any background noise.
I still can't leave this.
A lot of EQ to take out high end. We got vocal compression. This is a preset. Like, I still don't understand compression that well. I'm getting there though. Yeah, more saturation.
I still can't leave.
Chorus, de-esser, 2 different kinds of delay.
I still.
Me thinking I did something real impressive there. Nope, that's a preset. Okay, vocal doubler. That's what that was for. The real delay that you're hearing comes from this. But without it, it's...
I still can't leave this bed.
Then a compressor again, high pass, and yeah, the delay, reverb. And then I added sidechain to my vocals as well. I also used a tool because my audio obviously is lyrics. It varied a bit in throughout the song. And the loudness of the song varied, so I wanted it to fit well with the song, but not be too loud at the same time, so I just used a tool to find the right volume for each part of the song. And that is basically the lyrics. This song took me pretty much the entire 7 months that I was away to complete. I could not be happier with how it came out, though. Well, I could be, I guess, with the lyrics. Production-wise, overall, love what I did. And this is also a very personal song for me. To just explain what it's about, I've had something happen off and on in my life where in the morning I'll wake up with very depressive and anxious thoughts. And I found the best way to get out of those and to just start my day with a positive attitude and within a good headspace is just to go to God, just to pray, to get in the Word, whatever it takes. Because if you don't, you're going to be stuck with that. It's going to affect how your day goes. You're going to be full of anxiety. You're going to be full of just negative thoughts that you don't want. At least that's how I was. That's how I still am some days. But I remember that you have to go to God and able to, in order to get past that. Anyway, yeah, it's about my victory over mornings like that. Really glad it's out now, finally. And you can expect more projects with personal stories like this. Not every single one will be like that. I have some that are just, just for fun. Like I say, this project is my personal journal. However I phrase it, my creative canvas and my life journal. And then I'm doing it all for the glory of God. Or doing my best to the best of my ability for the glory of God. But yeah, thanks for sticking around to the end. Hope you leave a like and subscribe. I'll be doing more breakdowns as I release more songs. But yeah, thanks for sticking around this long. More stuff to come. Peace out. God bless.